Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Government official positions aren't the only thing being voted on this election day in Steuben County. Our Maggie Hall breaks down the two countywide propositions that you'll see on Election Day.
There are two propositions on the ballot this November for Steuben County. The first is proposal number 1, titled the Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act of 2022. This first proposition appears on the ballot as follows. To address and combat the impact of climate change and damage to the environment, the Clean Water, Clean Air, and Clean Jobs Environmental Bond Act of 2022 authorizes the sale of state bonds up to $4.2 billion to fund environmental protection, natural restoration, resiliency, and clean energy projects. State and local governments can sell these bonds to investors to fund infrastructure projects. The second proposition regards the reduction of the legislative districts in Steuben County. If passed, the legislative districts will be reduced from 13 to 11 districts. These districts would be represented by 17 legislators. For information on voting or to learn more about these propositions,
we recommend that anybody that wants, they can go to our website, which is steubencountyny.gov/BOE. And on there, on our main web page, if they scroll down, they will find a place where they can actually look at their ballot before they go to vote.
Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Steuben County.
The FDA has added amoxicillin to its drug shortage list. Amoxicillin is used most commonly to treat bacterial infections. Doctors warn the shortage comes at a bad time as RSV cases are up across the country. While amoxicillin is not prescribed to treat RSV, it could help with other problems that arise due to the virus, like an ear infection. The FDA has not set a timetable for when the shortage will end. Casa Trinity will be celebrating a new integrated care opioid treatment center. This will take place on November 14th at 2 o'clock. This celebration will be held at the organization's new location at 911 Stowell Street in Elmira. It consists of a tour of the new opioid treatment center and outpatient clinic. To RSVP, you can email the address on your screen. And even more potential hope in combating the nation's deadly opioid epidemic, with CVS Health and Walgreens Company offering billions of dollars to settle thousands of lawsuits. Ted Lindner reports.
Pharmaceutical giants CVS and Walgreens striking tentative deals to pay a combined $10 billion to settle thousands of opioid-related lawsuits.
It looks like they feel like the settlement is a way to get rid of this liability, contribute to a solution.
Wednesday's announcements have been a long time coming for local, state, and tribal governments across the country, whose lawsuits sought to hold pharmacies accountable for their alleged role in contributing to the opioid crisis, claiming pharmacies unnecessarily filled prescriptions for opioids that they shouldn't have.
We know that no amount of money is ever going to bring back our friends or families or repair the harms that have been caused by the opioid epidemic.
More than 500,000 people in the U.S. have died from opioid overdoses over the last 20 years, with synthetic opioid deaths rising by 80% over the last 2 years. In their settlements, CVS and Walgreens did not accept liability.
This has been a thorn in the business's sides. If lots of cases went to trial, it could end up costing the companies far more. This gives them some financial certainty and a chance to move ahead with their regular business operations.
If the deals are successfully completed, CVS would pay $4.9 billion to local governments and roughly $130 million to Native American tribes over 10 years. Walgreens, meantime, would pay $4.8 billion to governments and $155 million to tribes over 15 years. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Diapers and feminine hygiene products will be given away to those in need in Elmira. On Monday, November 7th, the Junior League of Greater Elmira Corning will provide these hygiene products from 4 to 6 p.m. The giveaway will be at the Economic Opportunity Program building on Baldwin Street. Last year, the group gave away more than 10,000 diapers and hygiene products to the Elmira community. A 200-year-old house in Tompkins County is set to be restored. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg was in Enfield today to take a look at the house.
The Finger Lakes Land Trust announced it has sold a historic 200-year-old home and 3.5 acres of land to a private buyer. The sale of the property was contingent on the buyer agreeing to retain the historic and cultural features of the home. I'm here at the estate on Stonehouse Road. As you can see behind me, the restoration process has already begun. A small crew has begun the restoration process. This includes the insides being cleared out of old materials, structural repairs to the stairs and door frames, and basic landscaping for the property. The property was originally donated to the Finger Lakes Land Trust following the passing of Tompkins County resident Margaret Bald. An additional 140 acres of land were also donated to the trust. The home was originally built in the 1820s. Historic Ithaca, a nonprofit organization, has been tasked with working with the new buyer and renovation team to maintain the architectural character of the home to ensure it can continue to be a future asset to the community. Historic Ithaca has worked on many projects in the past, including the Cascadilla Boathouse. Proceeds from the sale will be used to fund future Finger Lakes Land Trust projects. Some of the nearby conservation sites being worked on include the Bach Harvey Forest Preserve and the Stevenson Forest Preserve. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Tompkins County.
The Justice Department taking down an unusual theft ring targeting car owners. Federal, state, and local law enforcement from across the U.S. arresting leaders and associates of a national network of thieves, dealers, and processors for their roles involving stolen catalytic converters. The car parts were allegedly sold to a metal refinery for tens of millions of dollars. In total, 21 individuals have been arrested and/or charged. Tompkins Community Bank's longtime president is retiring. Gregory Hartz is set to retire after 20 years with Tompkins in spring of 2023. Hartz has served as the president for the bank since 2007. In a statement, Hartz said, "I have enjoyed a wonderful career at Tompkins, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have served this company for so many years." Yet again, there was no winner in Wednesday night's $1.2 billion Powerball drawing. Now, the pot growing even larger for Saturday night's drawing, where it will be the third largest lottery prize in U.S. history at $1.5 billion. No one has won the top Powerball prize since August 3rd. Your odds of winning the lottery? 1 in 292.2 million. Youth sports are becoming the latest victim of inflation. After the break, we take a look at the financial burden hitting families. Plus, we'll have your forecast. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
The bright blue skies were abundant across the area as we're getting some very pleasant fall-like sunshine, but note that that sun angle is getting a bit lower and we're seeing less of that daylight. We'll even mention that we have daylight saving time ending this weekend. But what we'll note through the overnight is that more of that fog development again is possible with these calm and comfortable conditions, and this lingering moisture. We're seeing that there is that availability to develop some of that patchy fog that reduces that visibility. So keep yourself aware not only for our Thursday morning, but as well as our Friday morning. Some of that patchy fog development is possible, with low temperatures holding within the 40s, though, as typically this time of the year, we start to see these overnight lows stay more consistently near that freezing mark. So we're holding off freezing off some of those ground conditions, but we will note that evidently there's always going to be that change to get us back to those average conditions. But it doesn't look to be taking over just yet. We have more of this pleasant sunshine in store as we see high temperatures flirting with the 70s. We could could be dealing with even record potentials over the next few days across the state and just across much of northeastern portions of the states. Now, we see that conditions will start to change starting on Saturday, as we are going to bring in some breezy conditions, and that's going to be associated with a frontal system that is going to bring some light rain showers. Not expecting anything significant, just about a few hundredths of an inch, but it's also going to initiate some gradual cooling. Nothing looking overall, again, well below average, no Arctic air taking over, but it is going to get us closer to average by the middle of next week. So as we trend into our Thursday, again, still fog potential through at least that mid-morning. Then we have those brighter skies again into the afternoon, with our highs just flirting with that 70-degree threshold yet again. Now we'll see high temperatures as they climb to those upper 60s. That does bring us about 15 degrees above average. Still have some fairly calm winds on Thursday, under 10 miles per hour. So we see that much of the area even starts to see a few of those 70s pop up, like Corning and Bath. Wayland around 68 degrees, Westfield around 65 degrees. Now heading into that Friday forecast, more of the same. A little bit of some increasing cloud cover ahead of that next system that is going to be working in some shower activity, but we'll see for the most part pretty similar temperatures again on Friday. Now with that frontal passage that's occurring from Saturday into Sunday, we do get wind gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So not blustery gusty conditions, but enough that it is going to be noted to maybe put some hazards in that weekend forecast of some blowing objects and holding on to that ball cap. But conditions calm pretty quickly as we step into next week, as we'll note that temperatures still have the chance to even hit those 70s both Saturday and Sunday. Record potentials there. But as those showers move out, note that we do have those temperatures gradually starting to pull back, as we should be back closer to average as we head into that Wednesday forecast. As overall, as we step into that second week of November, we're still talking about as well as that bright sunshine in store to pair up with the quiet conditions we've seen this week.
Americans continue to feel the sting of inflation, with elevated prices keeping wallets tight. It's causing families to make some tough choices, and for many, enrolling their kids in sports might not be in the budget this fall. Kevin Cork has a closer look.
Childhood sports are the latest victim of inflation.
I feel horrible that I can't let him play on more advanced teams.
The annual rate of inflation for the 12 months ending in September was a whopping 8.2%, according to the Consumer Price Index. With budgets maxed out, many families are continuing to limit non-essential purchases, and that's beginning to include enrolling their kids in sports.
We're watching prices rise while our income stays the same.
According to a recent study from LendingTree, roughly 60% of families say their child's involvement in sports this fall are straining their finances, with 1 in 5 claiming they spend about $1,000 or more for their kid to be on a team.
The least expensive one I found when I was trying to find one for him was, I believe, $600 for the season. And that didn't cover bats, gloves, shoes.
Add in travel expenses for away games and gas to get them to practices, and the economic burden is amplified. Parents like Rachel Kennedy of Ohio are trying to be honest with their kids about the situation they're facing.
I try to make sure that he understands it's not his responsibility. It's not his fault that we are in this position.
This comes as teams themselves are also facing elevated costs to use sporting venues, as well as hiring coaches and referees, and of course, groundskeepers as well. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
We have the start date for Twitter's blue checkmark fees. Households are cutting back on spending to pay energy bills, and a dollar store is accused of deceptive pricing. CJ Papa has those stories in today's Business Briefs.
The Twitter takeover saga rolls on. The social media platform will reportedly start charging $8 for those blue check marks as soon as Monday. And Elon Musk plans to lay off about 3,700 staffers, twice as many as initially thought. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez pushing back against the check mark charge, tweeting, laughing at a billionaire earnestly trying to sell people on the idea that free speech is actually an $8 a month subscription plan. Musk firing back, your feedback is appreciated. Now pay $8. Winter is coming, and a whopping 29 million households say they've cut back on other expenses in order to pay their energy bills. That according to a new LendingTree survey. The findings come as Vice President Kamala Harris announces $13 billion in aid to help low-income families heat their homes.
We are working, all of us together, at the intersection of so many important priorities. By helping families pay the upfront cost for energy efficiency upgrades.
That assistance comes as energy prices up double digits across the board. Home heating oil is up 58% compared to last year. And Ohio's Attorney General is suing Dollar General after multiple deceptive bait-and-switch pricing complaints. Dave Yost claims stores in the state are charging more at checkout than prices displayed on the shelves. The AG saying, quote, "This seems like a company trying to make an extra buck and hoping no one will notice." Dollar General could face a $25,000 fine per violation. No comment yet from the company. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
Still ahead, pawn shops say they're seeing more customers as people deal with rising costs. That story and more coming up. Expect to pay a lot more for your dinner salad this month. Lettuce prices, like a lot of things, have skyrocketed. Rich Rodriguez tells us what's behind that big jump and how it's impacting restaurants and even some pet owners.
A tossed green salad keeps getting more expensive every week. The Pressbox Sports Grill says a case of romaine has gone from $27 to $73. Here's why.
Pretty much any leafy greens that come out of Salinas were basically decimated. 75% of the crop has been tossed out.
Lettuce growers in Salinas have been battling a plant virus, according to FreshFruitPortal.com. An October heat wave only made things worse.
Anybody who is into lettuce is going to suffer for the next probably 5 weeks.
Miller says his restaurant started seeing lettuce prices climb 2 weeks ago. He believes it will be December before prices improve for restaurants. These 6 tortoises living in Fresno have big appetites, and the one thing that they like to eat most? Leafy greens. Their owner was feeding them 14 cases of lettuce a week. Now that the price has climbed from $14.50 to $69.50, he's cut their main course in half.
The green leaf has more minerals and stuff in it than any other lettuce has. So I have to keep feeding them the green leaf.
Jadum is also feeding them kale, which is a lot cheaper. The daily menu includes other veggies plus a fruit.
I give them 5 pounds of carrots. I give them cabbage. I give them apples. I give them broccoli to go along with the green leaf lettuce.
With green leaf lettuce prices up 400%, Jadum says he's got to keep his herd fed, but stay within budget. Restaurant owner Tom Miller says supply chain issues are something he's learned to deal with since COVID hit.
Pawn shops say they're seeing a rise in people coming in to trade items for cash as more people deal with the rising cost of just about everything. As Vicente Arenas tells us, one person even pawned a used transport coffin for extra money.
Thank you for calling Pasternak's. Can we help you?
At Pasternak's Pawn Shop on East Colfax, over the past year, there's been a steady increase in the number of people coming in and turning in all kinds of things to make a few bucks.
Our loans have gone through the roof with the economy being much lower and people needing more money.
But this, a used transport coffin, was a first. It's selling for $499. One man who didn't want to be identified is pawning things, he says, a lot more often.
As times have gotten tougher and just the inflation rates has caused me to come in probably once a month now selling things.
Enjoy your new vacuum.
Thank you. And buying things, too, like this old vacuum cleaner purchased by Roxy Kessler.
You can't afford anything because gas prices are so damn high that it raises the prices of everything. You know, food, insurance, you know, everything. The price is just skyrocketing. You can't afford to buy anything new.
Kessler is not alone. 40% of unbanked or underbanked households have used pawn shops. That stat coming from the National Pawnbrokers Association. Pawn shops tell Fox 31 they're also seeing more white-collar customers. The trend not surprising to MSU economics professor Christina Huber.
There's a lot of concern. We've been told for
over a year now that this inflation is temporary and it's lasting longer than we thought. I think people are starting to get a little nervous.
How long will it take to sell a used coffin? Well, that's not clear. And neither is what might come in next to Pasternak's on Broadway.
Stay with us. We'll have more after the break. We want to leave you with a smile. Dunkin' is welcoming this holiday season with some new treats and a new drink. The coffee chain's holiday menu features a new cookie butter cold brew, a cookie butter donut, and a pancake wake-up wrap. Customers can grab these treats at any Dunkin' location nationwide. I'm Scott Beadle. Thank you for watching.